Hello and welcome to the Outstanding Shift podcast with your host, Andrew Evans from Rossby Financial. I'm your producer, RJ Malik. On this podcast, we're going to talk with Andrew. We're going to find out a little about him, his goals that he has for this Outstanding Shift podcast. And first and foremost, I want to welcome Andrew. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing okay. So let's just really quickly go talk about you and your background, how you got to where you're at and what drives you personally and professionally.
Sure. Well, you know what's great about this, first off, RJ, is thank you for introducing me on my own podcast. That's fantastic. So
okay.
So much. Thank you so much. I started in this in the financial services business 20 some years ago. And it's been great. It's been wonderful. And it's been really interesting that over that 20 years, how much has changed, but how much really hasn't. That's very interesting to me.
Okay.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Sure.
And we're doing this podcast, and we want to explore some really cool things. But my background of how I got here was, very, very simply worked as an individual financial advisor, worked with some great firms, moved into a management position, just doing supervision, was working with some, a very large organization, helped build that thing. And then I just decided, you know what, I'm coming into my 40s. It's time to make a shift, and take what I know and see where can I really go with this. It's everybody says, like, you believe in yourself, you've got something going, and
right.
What can you do? And so I decided, look, I'm going to go build something that's just different and off the beaten path of what is, let's say, the general norm of the business.
Okay.
Let's say it's like late 80s, because I love references. Hey, everybody's got hair bands. It's hair bands everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird thing called Nirvana that showed up.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm not saying I'm Nirvana, but I'm like, well, I might be a little grungy.
Just a little different. Not what's mainstream right now.
Correct.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, we're recording this, and something big happened while the day of us recording this podcast, and I know you want to discuss this. Unfortunately, it's not great news. It's the passing of someone who, is just I think is an icon, and I remember him when I was younger and watching him just dominate wrestling and then turning into just a huge star. Where I'm talking about Hulk Hogan, the professional wrestler, unfortunately passed away today at the age of 71. But just a man that it's almost anything he did, he was successful at. That's sort of my personal opinion as a professional wrestler. Then he was in the Rocky, I think it was Rocky 3 movie, or Rocky 4, one of those. And he actually did pretty well. And I think he did a few other movies. And he just, was a person, just became a huge personality. And that's my thoughts. Your thoughts on the Hulkster?
Yeah, I mean, R.I.P. Hulk, R.I.P. Hulkamania. Well, I guess Hulkamania will live on forever, right?
Right.
But I mean, it has to be talked about. I mean, we start to, I think it was a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, with, as the baby boomers continue to age, all throughout like the 70s and 80s and so forth. Like somebody stated a few years ago, like, we're going to be devastated more and more because these icons, as media grew and information and content grew over the past 40 some years, that's
Sure.
when these icons came about, and now we're starting to lose them.
Right.
And I think what's I believe the term would be what's apropos to this podcast. It's called The Outstanding Shift, meaning like, what do you have to do to become outstanding in your life or in your business? And no one, I think, can argue that what Vince McMahon and what Hulk Hogan did in the 80s to bring professional studio wrestling at the time and turn it into professional wrestling, and the
Right.
crowds that they drew, like, that was it. I sure there Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes were doing their thing with the AWA wrestling and so forth down south,
Right.
but my goodness,
Right.
Titan Sports up out of Connecticut and doing WrestleMania, getting into pay-per-view, the Saturday night main event,
Right.
huge,
It, it,
huge.
it just, I'm old enough to remember when I was a kid. I mean, I'm talking 10, 11 years old, wrestling before Hulkamania. And it was regional. There were different outfits, as you just mentioned. And we would, I grew up on Long Island. So it was one of not the main channels, not the NBC, CBS, or ABC networks, but on one of the offshoots, a locally produced or a local channel where we would catch, professional wrestling. And it just seemed, looking back, it seemed, I'm trying to think of the right word. It just wasn't big and elaborate. It was
Quaint,
there.
fun, nice.
Yes, right. And then Hulk Hogan came upon the scene, and it just seemed to just explode.
Yeah, they had it.
And it became just a huge worldwide phenomenon.
100%. 100%. And, you can't, yes, we understand. Everybody listening to this, you're going to make a comment about whatever he has done in the recent past. We get it. We know. We understand. But you can't have WrestleMania 3 without Hulk Hogan.
No.
There's just so many things that pivot from pop culture because of him and Hulkamania and the 24-inch pythons, and he blows it up.
So Andrew, I take it you've watched one or two matches.
I've seen him lay the boot down and get that 1, 2, 3.
That's awesome.
I've seen
That's awesome. But, you have to give him his due. I mean, I think, and this is just a personal opinion, but without Hulk Hogan, I question whether wrestling gets as big as it got. I mean, yes, Andre the Giant was also a huge personality, and there were some others who came in. The Rock was there and afterwards, and yeah, he created things, but really, Hulk Hogan laid the foundation for what the WWF and turned into the WWE, of course. Yeah. What it became. He sort of was the foundation. Yeah. That's my perspective, my opinion.
Yeah, they him and Vince got together. I understand. We all understand. Weird backroom dealings. We get it. But 6'7",
yeah,
blonde guy, gigantic, charismatic, not terribly athletic, but charismatic. And he could put him on TV in a room. You could see him. He could talk. He could say that. Great. Catalyst. That's what they needed to do. That's what he was waiting for. He had other much better wrestlers, but it was still like the technical. So what did Vince had? He had to find what was that spark. What did he had to change? He had to turn it into way more show, and he needed that star, and that was Hulk.
That was, we were just talking, and the one word that, jumped out while you were speaking, catalyst. That, that's a perfect word to describe him and what he did for the WWE. I mean, he was the catalyst that then helped propel it to where it is now. Mm-hmm. So unfortunate that he passed on, but like you and I have been discussing, he left an incredible mark.
Absolutely,
he really did. I mean, whether you were whether you were a person who really followed professional wrestling, and for myself, it was sort of not something, because I think I was a little bit old. As I got a little bit older, I moved away from it, but it was still enough, and my background, I was on the radio for during that whole time. So of course you would be talking about WrestleMania when they came up, because it was such a huge event. So I have to say that I'm not a fanatical fan, but I was a fan of the event. I
Yeah.
was a fan of the spectacle.
Yes.
And how they put that on, and how it grew. It was amazing.
It was outstanding.
Yeah.
Really, really was. Really, really was.
I like that. That's a great tie-in. All right, let's bring it back, and
let's talk about what we're talking about. That's right. This is not,
yes,
it's not a wrestling podcast. It's not. It can be from time to time. Let's make sure everybody gets it. It can be.
Andrew, I have a feeling that any topic is not out of bounds for you.
No, it's not.
I didn't think so. All right, let's talk about Rossby Financial and what it stands for, how you serve your clients,
Sure.
and your unique perspective you bring to financial conversations.
Sure. So what a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. There's Rossby in and of itself is a total brand. I had this nutty idea from my past, is saying, okay, where do I think firms today are maybe getting they're going a little too much, is that they're adding in too much. It's too much. Too much is happening. And then all of a sudden you're just starting to drown, and maybe the quality is going down because there's too many things going on, or there's too many choices. And also with that, too many choices, and there's too much cost and things like this. And so I said, okay, so what if we just say, I'm just going to run an RIA, just a registered investment advisory firm that just does that. That supports independent IARs, investment advisor representatives, and their DBAs, but we don't dictate the tech stack. We don't dictate the investment policy. We don't dictate the investment we don't make them go into a specific practice management. Okay, just give them the core tools that they have to do their business. Okay, just do that. Right. And even go a step further, that I'm not going to also go to vendors and work out back end deals with investment companies, so that I make a little vig on the back end, as we say.
Okay.
If we have this many assets over there, and this advisor's charging, one, and you're charging, a quarter, let's get 10 basis points back. And I know, RJ, you might not like the jargon, but I think if advisors, they'll catch the jargon.
Yes.
So no, we don't do no, none of that. I don't do any of that. I don't want any conflicts of interest like that. I don't want to then also go to these companies and say, okay, to present at our annual meeting, you've got to stroke me a check for $50,000. Okay. Conflicts of interest. Okay. So just be an RIA. That's all I do. It's an RIA. That's this company over here. All right.
Okay.
All right. But advisors need things, and things come up that this company does not and will not provide.
All right.
So I then created another company over here called ROffice, or as I very cleverly branded it, ROffice, the letter R. Because I'm clever.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
And that company, there's no magic there. That is Fiverr, Upwork, Lyft, Airbnb, VRBO for financial services, in that you get on-demand help in the things that an advisor just needs help on: financial planning, like a paraplanner, marketing, admin work, bookkeeping, whatever it is, social media support, you don't have to overpay this firm here for things you don't use. You just
okay.
come over to this firm and you pay for what you need.
Okay.
Okay. And so what I split there is the fact that inside of most firms today, advisors are overpaying for things they don't use.
Huh.
Firms deliver a lot of tools and support, and we've got this and this and this, and advisors are maybe using 10% of it, but they're paying 100% of it. So I said, stop it.
So this creation came from your observing what was going on in the industry.
Yes. Why are we paying for this?
Are you getting any pushback because you're different?
What do you mean by pushback?
Well, I mean, the way you described it, people would go to one place and they would get all these services, or all these services are presented, but they don't use all of it. So you scaled back one side and created another side. And it seems like if I came to you with my business and said, okay, I need this, but on this side, I can pick and choose exactly what I need. I don't have to buy a full package. Am I understanding that
Yes.
correctly?
Okay. Yes.
And so that to me is different than the way a lot of companies operate.
Yes. So, love analogies, but I won't get to my analogy yet.
Okay.
Yes. So the interesting pushback that we get is sometimes when we're talking to advisors, they're like, well, wait, how does that work? I mean, aren't you supposed to charge me more? Because our costs are very, very low to advisors. Like, no, this can't be. Like, you have to bill me more than what's like. And we freely publish our pricing right on our website. And I say, no, that's because like you're getting, like when I said before, like, oh, well, advise, you pay 100%, but you're only using 10%. Well,
right.
We're only charging for the 10%.
Right.
So that's all we're charging. All right. And so they have a hard time believing that. Like, that's the problem. Like, that's the pushback. Sure. Is like, they're like, nah, that can't be. No. That can't be.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Sometimes because some people will look at things, and I know I do when I'm looking, doesn't necessarily mean financial advisors or anything like that. Just in life in general, if it sounds too good to be true, then it must be too good to be true. That's sort of my outlook on life. Yeah. And it sounds like you're running into that.
Yeah, but it's going away.
Good.
Through, just as people get it, they understand it. Also, I noticed recently with as we've done more marketing and we've talked to people, and I'm sure as this podcast hit and our as the good word is spread about us, I've noticed that some other third parties, some recruiting companies actually have started to talk more about, hey, advisors, are you digging into your actual pricing? They used to never really talk about that. They used to talk about it on a surface level, but now they've started to talk more about, well, do you understand this minute thing and this and this and this and this and this? They never really used to do that. And that's not, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say that I started that, but I'm going to say that I'm here, and that's the gospel of me.
I was going to throw out the phrase trendsetter.
That's fine too. I take it out. That's fine. It's fine. It's
okay. Fine. All right. If you don't mind, I'd like to move on.
Sure.
We were talking before, actually before we even started recording, and you threw out the phrase less but better. So and you sort of touched on it when you were just talking about the prior topic. So can you elaborate on that a little more?
Sure. So there's a great book that's called Essentialism, written by Greg McKeown, and that's its hallmark phrase: less but better. That can be used in many, many different cases, in many different ways. Uh, an essentialist, different than a minimalist. A minimalist would say, I only need one fork because
Right.
I'm one person.
Right.
Whereas an essentialist would say, well, no, I need the best fork, and I have a family of 4, and I host, but I never host more than 12. But I also know that I can buy from Costco this pack of really good forks, disposable, when I have a big party. I know where those things are, but I don't need to
Okay.
buy it yet. Okay. So an essentialist just goes for, what do I need right now? I need these 12 forks. I don't need 50. Okay. What do I need now? And so in our world, or I should say really in my world, when I'm looking at the financial services tools, the operations of things, I think where I'm reworking things is, as regulations change, what a lot of people have done is they just then stack something on top of it. This has been my experience. Okay.
Okay.
Is that, this changed. Okay. Well, now we're going to add this process and this system to then take care of the fact that this rule changed. What they didn't do was just go back and change their existing systems, change their existing paperwork to incorporate that. They just added on top of it. And so as firms have grown, as they have added people, they've added advisors, they've added assets, they've added employees, regulations have changed. They haven't really gone back and changed processes or programs. They've just added on. So I look at that and I say, no, 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 no. Let's do less programs, but let's get better programs. Let's get less processes, but let's get better processes. Let's get less rules, but better rules. And you do that by doing your best to continually upgrade what your software, how you're viewing the world, and things like that. And that's hard to do. Admittedly, RJ, a lot of firms they're just too big to change.
That makes sense.
And that's okay. You know, I'm not coming down on them. Sometimes you're just, hey, you've got 13,000 advisors that work through you, and you've got, 1,000 home office employees. You're just trying to keep your head above water just to process what you got. I get it. You ain't changing.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But for smaller firms, and I'd say for any startup, like I'm a big believer in entrepreneurship and mentorship. That, look, if you want to start and you want to grow, now's the time. Because most of these so we're going to have a guest on in the future, my buddy
Sure.
Larry, and what he said to a couple smaller firms, that which I agree. We're going down a rabbit hole real quick here, RJ.
That's
Is
okay.
that right now, if you do not adopt AI processes or adopt AI into your business now, and have agents and a data lake within 2 years, you're done. Forget it. Just find a buyer, call it quits. Because if you're not in it within 2 years, you will fall so far behind so quickly, you'll never recover.
That can be a podcast all by itself.
Yes. Well,
and I'm sure that may be in your future.
I think we're going to have one of those. But RJ, like, that's the point, is less but better. So we have to continually look for, how do we have less things, but if I buy this, what do I get to eliminate? I have an iPhone. what did I eliminate? I eliminated my camcorder, my
Yeah.
Walkman, you
Yeah.
know, my standalone camera, my
Right.
my flip phone. Okay,
Yes.
keep going. I mean, it's all in here now.
All of my contacts are in my phone.
Yep.
I don't have a book of. We used to have books with everyone's name and phone number. Those are gone.
Yep.
It's all in my phone. Yeah.
Less but better. Less but better.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to move on and let's talk about, I guess, your values around money, leadership, and how that's going to impact the shape of the show's direction.
Sure. Well, we all need more money.
Okay, that wraps it. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, which I guess they're making. Which
yes.
if they don't call it The Search for More Money, I'm just going to be so upset.
I'm a big fan of Mel Brooks, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, absolutely. So money is money's a tool. Money is a tool. I know a lot of people. It is hard to come by. It is hard to make. It is something that is not easy to handle. But for those that can generate, can make, I view it as your responsibility as if you're an entrepreneur to grow, develop, and use it as a platform to help those grow and develop to improve themselves as well. So I'm not a fan of, we'll say, business owners that grow and then hoard.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not due what they're, for what they've done, but if this is all again philosophical, but
Sure. Sure.
Us as an organization, as we grow, we build, I'm looking for people in the younger generations to come in. I want to give them a shot and pay them to grow and develop with us as we grow and develop, because there's somebody right now sitting in a firm, let's say they're 31 years old and they just love technology development.
Sure.
And they are 32 in line. They are not going to be the CTO.
Right.
But I tell you what, come knock on my door. I think maybe we got a shot. And that's where that's how I view, that the abundance of what a business can build is not just to I'll do well. My partners will all do well. We are all going to do well. But with the abundance factor is not then to just sit back and live on the island and, go parasailing with movie stars. It's to then take that and say, okay, who can I seed in this company or to come to this company to then give them the opportunity to launch further.
Okay.
Use money as a tool to reinvigorate what used to be research and development. Bring back research and development and put it into exploring and developing the people that will take it there.
Okay.
All philosophical, but that's how I view it. Give the people a chance.
But you're looking more than just at what's in it for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll be fine.
That's how I say it. Like, I'll be fine.
Right. But you're looking at the big picture and you're looking at the future and you want to, I guess the word mentor is, I don't know if it's the right word, but that word popped into my head as you were talking. You sort of want to mentor the future.
Yes. A mentoring of the future. Not everybody belongs here. There's probably somebody who says, no, a CEO, everybody's got to be there and everybody's got to work for you. You got to be a man and you got to be a man up, right? Sure. I'm a man, Okay, I gotcha. Okay. But guess what? We won't have everybody. We don't need everybody. It's just not the way that it is. But
Right.
for those that are on board that do come here and do work with us, I mean, I truly want to make it great. It might not always be, but I want to do what I can, right?
Right.
And I want to see them grow and develop. And if they move on from us, I wish them all the best luck. I hope that I had a positive impact with them, and I'll support them forever.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds good. All right, we're going to start to wrap things up. So, what can listeners expect? Maybe can you give us maybe a preview of the next 2 or 3 episodes that you have coming up?
Yeah, I'd say expect the unexpected. Going to be fun. So coming up, I hope they go in order. So what should be interesting is actually some of my employees. We're going to hear from Gen Z.
Okay.
In finance.
Okay.
And just hear, well, what do you think of, I want to hear what do they think about our industry and what's important to them and how do they want to grow and develop? Because I view it like this is that like, it doesn't like, I'm done. I know I'm only 45, but I'm just like, I did it and I'm doing it.
Right.
But guess what? We have to keep building for the future. So I want to hear what they have to say. My wife is going to be on. She's going to be talking about how to figure out product development. She's going
Okay.
to be talking about, a lot of the pitfalls that people fall into about not listening to, actually listening to what your users want. And then another fun one, which I think will, I don't want to make this sound, this is not going to, it's not nepotism. It's not, it's just people who are fun to talk to. But my brother is going to be on. And he is a head of AI at a fairly well-known organization. So we're going to be talking about the nonsense that people have of either not wanting to do it or being like afraid of it.
Well, I understand that. I want to do it, but yeah, I'm kind of nervous about trying to incorporate it into what I do. But I am jumping into it. But I'm concerned. I will be honest with you. I'm concerned whether I can fully take advantage of it. And will I grasp it? I mean, I've got some concerns, but I'm forcing myself into adopting it into what I do.
Yeah, we talk about it because obviously I'm a Star Trek fan, and so is my brother. I see you nodding in agreement. So certainly we will talk about things like what I love the idea is for me to talk to the ship and
Sure.
and for it to like, I know something and I have a feeling about something. Let me ask the ship to compile the extra million points of data that it can see that I'm not seeing and give me a feedback so that I can make the final decision. That's
Okay.
that's how I'm viewing it. So hopefully, hey, RJ, listen in.
I'll be listening. Absolutely. No, no, truthfully, I'm looking forward to it. This has been it's been a fun conversation with you. I enjoyed sitting down and talking with you.
And,
So.
and RJ, all these things that we're going to talk about, and we have some other really cool guests lined up, but it's all to come back to the idea of what's it going to take for you to go from where you are to becoming outstanding? What is that magical shift that it takes to pop up? You want to get from here to there. What is that magic? We're going to help find it.
I'm looking forward to the journey. It sounds like this is going to be a journey, and I'm looking forward to it. Before you go, how can people contact you?
So I actually like if somebody calls me.
Okay.
I don't care. So there's always email. It's very simple. You can always email me at evans@rossbyfinancial.com. And then call me. Just call me 321-209-0157.
Okay. The number's out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. This has been an enjoyable conversation. I really enjoyed it. And most importantly, thank you for listening to the Outstanding Shift podcast. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, please click the subscribe button below. This way, when the team comes out with a new podcast, it will show up directly on your listening device. And we humbly ask you to share this podcast, rate it, and leave a review, because this actually helps others find the show. Again, thank you for listening. And for Andrew, I'm RJ Malik, and we look forward to you joining us for our next podcast.
Thank you for listening to The Outstanding Shift. Don't forget to hit the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our websites at www.ROffice.team, www.rossbyfinancial.com, or give us a call at 321-209-0111. The information provided in this video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance is not indicative of future results. You should consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions.